When I started going to shows, it was like me and two other girls in the scene. I was like 15, 16 years old, and we were all like kind of pit against each other by the men in our scene. It was like we had to earn our place within the community by impressing the men around us, which obviously is a very toxic breeding ground for a lot of abuse and other things that can happen within our communities. But I think over the last 8 to 9 years, we've seen this cultural shift happening. I've seen the scene come completely different direction from where it was when I first got into it.
One of the cool things about hardcore is that like we police ourselves a lot of the time. We're the ones, you know, calling the shots as far as like DIY spaces and stuff like that. I always think that like we're always like at least one step ahead of society in the way of like things like overturning. It is like, you know, like a macho testosterone filled thing, but now it's like just a completely different, like turn the page of everything. Like you got sound people that are like women, you got like people in like the actual like venue space who are like helping run like shows and stuff like that, which 10 years ago it was unheard of. When I wrote Watch My Promise Die, it was coming from this like utter guilt in this like career that I'm in where I'm like always gone, playing shows. You know, you can't really be there as much for your family. You miss a bunch of important stuff if you're gone all the time. Partners, like all that stuff drops on you because you're trying to like, you know, live your dream. And then at the same time, the people close to you are suffering because of that. And it's just like, the promise is like, yeah, I'll always be there for you and everything, but like, you know, inevitably you're not because you're trying to live your life.
For me, Watch My Promise is like my future or like my potential. That was where I wrote it from. And it was very much about like, it was the first song on the record that I wrote. So it was very much about like the fear of the sophomore slump and all the pressure and all of the imposter syndrome that I had and how I was really struggling with like being so visible and being so vulnerable. It's been hard to kind of grapple with all of the attention that I'm getting when naturally, like, I'm friendly, but I'm pretty introverted. Can I handle this? What if I just gave up right now and saved myself all of the disappointment and all of the like hurt that I'm going to inevitably cause when I fail? It was kind of written from that perspective of, you know, just giving up instead of trying to persevere through. We've known each other since middle school, and Jeff too, who plays drums. And we just grew up going to shows together, you know, going from like Myspace scene metalcore music to like hardcore and like getting into that. We just stayed friends after school and stuff, and then it was around like 2015. There was quite a lull in our local scene and there were no bands and I was booking shows, and so we were like, let's start a band so we have someone to play these shows. The rest is history.
Yeah, I bought a guitar to start the band and learned on the way there. I'm the type of person where if I'm not like inspired to write, I don't write anything. It's kind of a double-edged sword because I'm just like, I should be writing more, but at the same time, if I write what just comes out, if I don't like actually feel it, then I'm just like, I think this sucks, like I'll throw it out. A lot of what I write comes from just like my upbringing, like childhood and stuff like that. So it's an easy like vessel to take from, but I think you're the opposite.
I will write down anything.
Yeah.
I just, even if I don't use it or if I'm feeling uninspired, I'll keep it because I'll come back to it later and allow it to inspire other ideas. I rarely ever throw away ideas personally. But for me, what helps is like having him to lean on and be like Pray For Me, for example. That was the last song that we finished on the record and I was done. Every word sounded the same to me. I couldn't tell what was cool. And so I just went to him and I was like, listen, he does Muay Thai. So I was like, I need you to write a song that you would want to listen to right before you go into the ring that would like inspire you to win. And that's how we came out with Pray For Me. So knowing that he's like there to like take some of the slack whenever I can't come up with something, takes the pressure off. And then I have a much less of a hard time with it that way. We've been in each other's lives for so long that like we know the ins and outs of each other's brains. So it's for better or worse. So. True.
Obviously, we all listen to hardcore, like that's where we came from, but most of the time it's like the influences from everyone is like not very heavy, but it just comes out that way in the process.
Like for myself, writing my melodies and my choruses, it's very pop influenced. I listen to a lot of like SZA and like Doja Cat and Paramore, whatever, anything that's like, it's like borderline poppy, but then I also like try to think like, what would Howard formerly from Killswitch like do, you know? So I try to like balance that and then put my own spin in it as well.
My favorite band of all time is the Ramones. So Johnny Ramone, when I saw him play guitar like in like the music videos, I was like, holy, like that guy looks awesome. He has a leather jacket on, that's cool. So that was made me like want to pick up a guitar like initially, but I never did it until I watched this documentary, I think it was just called like New York Hardcore documentary. Vinny Stigma is like in an interview and they're just like, I forget what they asked him, but he remembers the moment that he wanted to play in a hardcore band was like when he saw another band on stage, was like, I can do that better. And I was like, yeah, me too. And yeah, that's what started it.
I watched the documentary, The Punk Singer, right around when we started this band, and that just like catapulted me into a direction of like, wow, I can really do this. Bikini Kill is not like, you know, it's not like an underground band by any means, but it was her attitude that really resonated with me, where it was like, she was very unapologetically queer. She was a stripper, you know, and so just like her attitude of like, I do not have to fit the mold of what you want me to be, I'm gonna do it anyways. That was definitely very inspiring for me.
Even though we do fall into like the metalcore, hardcore, you know, like at the gates, fast riff stuff, Sam and then our producer Randy, like when they're like in the studio, it's never just like, oh, like we can't do this because we're like this band. It's like, let's try it. Like, let's see what happens. And I think a lot of like the discovery of a bunch of stuff, new sounds, like things that like neither of us thought of that could work is always like, it's kind of like the fresh take on stuff.
Our motto in studio is we try things here.
Yeah.
It feels pretty effortless, honestly, at this point, which I feel grateful for, especially on this last record. It felt like it just flowed. Like
even on the record, like us writing a ballad has always been like, what if we did a ballad? And we did it and it was like, yeah, that's sick. And then the next song on the album is like one of like the hardest songs we've ever written.
A lot of it is broadly a kind of about systemic issue happening, the crisis that's happening in Gaza and in Palestine, the issues of poverty, what we're dealing with Roe versus Wade being overturned, trans people having their rights revoked and becoming invisible to the government, all of those issues that, you know, make society, especially our American communities, a really difficult place to live for a lot of us. That's kind of specifically what we were talking about, but anything that can fall under that umbrella of all of these intersectional issues happening to anyone marginalized in any part of the world. If society is suffering, I think we all suffer from that. So it's all personal. Some of it is much more anecdotal, but it's all coming from the heart. Paved in Sorrow, that song is written as kind of like a letter to my little sister who we got split up in a custody battle, and I felt like I wasn't there to protect her, and I think it kind of like ruined our relationship and going forward. And so it was kind of just like an apology, essentially, and admitting my participation in, you know, stuff that she had gone through. One of the themes on the record is like control. There's several meanings to the word, but specifically this song, it was allowing yourself to let go of control, whether it's a breakup or a family issue or just any kind of relationship that you have that unnaturally tangles, as people in relationships do, and just accepting that and kind of letting it go. And I mean, that song has probably resonated with more people as we're on tour, you know, people coming up saying, I just went through a breakup. And so I wrote it not really anything specific, but just kind of a general feeling. And I think it resonates with people. We've done a lot of tours, so whether you found us through Limp Bizkit or Hatebreed or Counterparts or The Devil Wears Prada or Code Orange, like, we have a very diverse crowd, and I love that.
There's like the spin kicking, scary guys. There's like the kids who love push pitting, circle pits. We even have like an older crowd because of like the Hatebreed tour. Moms and dads like who love like metal. They're up front most of the time singing the songs. They all get along for the 45 minutes that we play.
Yeah,
so.
We haven't had a single fight. One thing I really wanted to achieve from this was a community that we have built around the band, and it feels like we really have that. We have a fan who is going to 12 shows on this tour. Yeah. He's traveled from St. Louis to Florida and is following us back to Kansas City. Yeah. So I can't even believe that, honestly. Yeah. It's crazy.
I don't even know if I like a band that much to follow them around.
I don't. I definitely don't. Yeah.
Anybody who's on stage with an instrument or with a microphone has, you know, the floor, basically. Just like as far as like, you know, musicians go, like me and Sam like have like young kids being like, yo, like I learned this song, like you guys are my favorite band, like, you know, like all of the stuff that I was like going through when I was like 15, 16, you know, going to shows and being like, that guy's really cool. So it's like, now there's this responsibility of just like, damn, I can't let those kids down. Like, I don't want to do anything stupid.
This kind of music should have a message and stand for something. And, you know, that's why we talk about the things that we do, because it's not just about me, it's about all of the other people on stage with me and all of the people in the crowd. And I want to be able to stand for something and make a difference, most importantly.
Yeah. There's no one to blame. We will never be the same, but I have to choose to contend with the solitude. If you say there's beauty in losing control, then why do I go on? Why do I go on? I'm lost in the fog, 'cause I'm letting you go.
I question often who I would be if I never got into hardcore music. As a queer person, I don't know if I would have ever really discovered like a queer community properly. You know, I definitely would never have done music or started a band just because this is the only outlet for me musically that really makes sense for me. So if I didn't have this, I don't know where I would be or who I'd be.
I at least would like to put a little footprint of, you know, all of us into this world, somehow, some way. You know, if there's a kid who listened to our songs and was just super inspired to start his own band and take his dream all the way, then that's really what it's all about at the end of the day.
Amen. I want to have a cruise. I want to be like Lamb of God big, you know? If we, I used to say a Grammy nomination, but lately I'm just kind of realizing that's not that cool. I guess it's cool, but.
Well, I still want one.
I do too.
I'm going to fill it with nacho cheese and eat chips out of it.
Yeah, we'll never win a Grammy.
No. Yeah.
But we could get nominated for one.
That'd be cool, yeah.
Yeah, I want to be headlining arenas one day. And if that doesn't happen, that's fine. That's not my expectation, but why not try?